Hello guys and welcome back to Minecraft 1.14.4 Survival. We're updating next episode. That's the goal, alright? Just want to clear that up first of all. Firstly, that is, actually I should put away these sticks and saplings real quick, but yeah. As I promised, I would talk about the entitled parent story I have, and I dealt with. Because entitlement is real these days, people. There are people out there that believe things should just be given to them, whether it be because of race, class, who they are. When I say that, when I say who they are, I don't mean like, a disabled person not deserving disabled benefits and whatnot. No, I'm saying like, as in like they're people demanding things that, it's like either not the person's job or it's not the person's place to even do that kind of thing. So, let me get right on into it. So I was working at this aquarium. We'll just call it uh the aquarium. We're not going to give it like a fancy name or anything while we're talking about it here because I don't really want to, I won't really give away place. I might have already said it in an episode before, and shamelessly, I'm saying, I don't want to say it now. But if I've said it before, oh well, you know, stuff happens. But while I was working in this uh, aquarium, when I was volunteering, we switch our shifts every 30 minutes or so. And I was trying to do my job, and it was like the first rotation in the morning. It was very early in the morning, right after opening, so all these people are coming in. And here I was standing around the touch tank. We have these carpet sharks, as they're called, little sharks that are only like 3 to 4 feet long. We have all girls. I believe they're all girls. Yeah, they were all girls in there, um, except for the one species that we had very few of. I think those were the only boys, but of course they were different species, or they might have been girls themselves too. I don't really remember. Um, it's been a while since I've been there now. This happened a little while ago, so yeah, I'm trying to recall the best I can. Um, but while I was working there that morning, I saw a kid who was, all the way on his, like on his, with his knees on the railing, which is not how you're supposed to sit on the railing of the edge of the tank. The actual edge of the tank is made so that you can put your stomach, lay with your stomach on it, so you can reach in for at least little kids can reach in a lot better and reach down because it's not very deep at all where these sharks are. And the kid's using his whole hand and he's like splashing around, he's annoying other people there. So I do my job, and I go and politely go, hey, hey there, buddy, can you leave the can you not splash around and only pet with 2 fingers? These sharks are, the sharks don't really like it when you pet with your whole hand and stuff. So I'm trying to be like very gentle and very polite with the kid, and like I don't want to ruin his day. He's here to have fun and look at the fishies and stuff. That's the goal. Enter the parent. The first thing they do is go right up to their kid, and grab their kid's hand. Like I could see like the kid's skin like tighten as like how hard she was holding onto his arm. And the first thing she does is she grabs him, gives me a dead stare, and then walks away. Right? And I was like, okay, I was just doing my job. I'm wearing a shirt, this light green shirt with my badge and everything, showing that I actually worked there at the time. So I'm guessing at first, oh, she probably just thought I was some rando telling her kid not to. She probably just didn't see the badge. But she doesn't like leave the area with her kid. She doesn't do anything like that. She moves to another side of the touch pool, right? And I think that's over. It wasn't. About halfway through the shift, it was only like a few minutes into the beginning of the day that this happened. So it was like, wow, that's a weird way to start the day. I wasn't thinking anything of it really. She comes back around, and just to give you an idea of what was going on here, it wasn't a white woman. It was a Mexican woman, and that's the farthest I'll say of who she was, um, at all. And it was so frustrating. Also, just dealing with her when she was because what she was doing was like, if you're a parent of your kid, yelling at someone, while you're in front of your kid, you know, if they're like being an actual like terrible person to like you because of who you are or stuff like that, you have every right by anyone to call them out on it. You have every right to be an actual person yourself too. You are living here in America, obviously. If you're you know if you're here at this aquarium, unless you're visiting from another country, obviously. But what happened next was uncalled for, on like, to anyone, like anyone, even paid workers. It isn't called for to do what this woman started to do. So she then, like, she walks away, but when she comes back to the area where I was, because I was just kind of standing around, walking person to person, telling them little facts about the sharks and everything. There was actually a not too young girl there. I think I'd say either somewhere between the age of like 10 and 14, or 10 or 12, actually, not 14. 14 is a little far. In age for that girl, if I'm correct, that is. Um, who was very interested in the shark shoot. You know, it was how, as a person who was working there as not as an employee but as a volunteer. It's kind of it was one of the situations where you're looking at someone and you're like, wow, they're actually enjoying something I'm working for. You know, you know, regardless of me being a volunteer. She was actually genuinely enjoying what I was telling her, and genuinely enjoying petting the sharks, being around them in general. And that's the best thing you can see as a worker anywhere in the world. But this woman comes back to me, and I don't remember exactly what she said, but she got really pissed off at me. She was really, really pissed. Like, she was visibly frustrated with me. Her cheeks were like bright red, and she had this absolute just terribly angry face on, looking at me, and she was like, don't you ever touch my son again. And I was like, I never did, but I was just telling him, like, there, I tried to be polite and everything. I'm sorry, ma'am, he was just, touching the sharks with more than two fingers, and that's just a rule we have here at the aquarium. I I just don't. It's for the safety of the animals, and I'm just doing my job at trying to tell, And then she cuts me off as I'm trying to like explain why like why I'm not some random creep that was touching her child's arm or anything. No, I was just doing my job. What I was there willingly without pay to do. which I wanted to do for a long time, she cuts me off and she's like, well, obviously you don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, what? Like that's not something you come back with. You know, that's not what I was expecting, at least, to have as a comeback to what I was doing or what I was saying. And she was like, she just starts going off on me in front of all these people. And like there was these other families there. It was like I didn't know how to diffuse this situation. This random woman just came up to me and started screaming at me for, like doing my job, and I'm sitting there like looking around like, what did I do exactly wrong by this woman that made her, like flip out so badly in front of people? But like she's like yelling and yelling and yelling at me about like that I'm harassing her child and whatnot, and how it's disgusting how white people just think they can get away with this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh great, she played the race card now. Um, which, as a person who is working any job anywhere, you pray that no one ever starts playing the race card, because you know exactly where it's going as soon as that race card is played. Anytime that's ever said, you're like, oh no, oh no, here we go. It's going to be a terrible day. There's going to be some really bad stuff that's about to happen, kind of thing. And I was taken aback by this because I was not expecting, some Mexican woman to, be upset about me telling her child not to do something in a place where I was working and supposed to do that. If they were doing something that was harmful, technically harmful to the animals, which that's what the kid was doing. Not supposed to pet with more than 2 fingers because they have sensitive skin. The dermadenticles on them can be pulled off very easily. It's not exactly like human skin. Sharks are covered with what are called dermal denticles, if you heard me just a moment ago, which dermal denticles, if broken down simply, just means skin teeth. They actually have a thin layer of these teeth-like structures in place of their in where you would expect them to have like just kind of a dense skin like layer or scales. Their scales are way more like teeth than anything, and that's why they're called dermal denticles. And they can be, if they're rubbed the wrong way, a couple can be pulled and stuff like that, which is not comfortable for the shark. It's you know, I mean, as you could imagine, anything pulling on your skin is never, a fun thing. It's never a good day when something like that happens to even people. It's not a comfortable thing. It's not a good feeling in the slightest. It is a just day if you have that happen to you. It is not fun. So I was just doing my job, and she's going off, and there's people watching because there's people thinking that I did something wrong. You know, and it was terrifying to me that this woman was saying what she was saying, like that I was going to do something to her kid, and I was like, whoa, like in my mind I'm like, whoa, what is happening, what is going on, and why are these people looking at me like I actually did it? There were some people that were like staring at me like I've done something horrible. It's like all I did was tell the kid not to hurt the sharks at the aquarium. I wasn't telling the kid to die, or handing him a knife or something, or stabbing him, or hurting him, or doing anything with any malicious intent to this kid. And, that scared the crap out of me. So I didn't really know what to do in that situation. So after this woman is done with her rant at me at why white people are terrible, um, and I'm not gonna be affected by it. Like because she played the race card on it, I'm gonna just ignore it. Was my thought after thinking about it for a moment. I was like, you know what? I don't need to be affected by this. This doesn't need to make my day terrible. this doesn't need to make my day. I am a bad guy. No. I decided, that I was just going to be polite and go, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I don't know why you're going off on me like this, ma'am, but can you please just calm down for the sake of the rest of the patrons here? And I was trying to be polite. I was talking quietly, because I didn't want really more people to start, like coming over and thinking I was doing something wrong, so I was just trying to be quiet and polite, just speaking softly. I was not raising my voice. I was just trying to be respectful, but she kept going. And again, if you're a person and someone is annoying you in retail is just my go-to example thing with this, just so you guys understand why I keep going to retail with it. You don't like if someone is doing their job and you are a little annoyed by how it is, don't make it a scene. Don't make it so that everybody else around you has to now be affected by it. That's the rudest thing you can do to others in situations of stress like this one. And it's very unfortunate that this woman even felt that she needed to do, what she was doing that day, because that's uncalled for from anyone, especially a parent with a kid there. If you're ever in a situation where uh something might be affecting your child in a negative way, I'm not saying that whatever it is, you don't have the right to help your child or anything like that. But when it's a situation of you didn't hear what I said to the kid and you're just assuming I was being some racist, classist, or, bigot, but instead you're going to be so you return the favor kind of thing. You're not, as people, I am not some, random white guy that was, trying to stop him because he was Mexican. No, I was doing my job as a person trying to make sure that the animals were okay and the kid had a nice day. So I was trying to be very polite to the kid. I wasn't, you know, assaulting the child. I wasn't harming him in any way, but apparently that's what this mom decided I was doing because that's what she thought, you know. And like after this whole thing, one of the people that I worked with saw, started seeing, realized what was going on when, they saw that I was there, getting an earful from this random woman, and the person starts listening on the conversation and is like, obviously takes my side with it, like, what are you talking about, lady, kind of thing. The person didn't walk over and diffuse the situation, because that it would have been probably the wrong place and the wrong time to try to diffuse the situation. We just have to wait till she was done with her rant and left with her child. She didn't leave the entire day. I went through multiple different stations, and would see her at almost every single one, and I was in fear that I was going to have a scene with this woman in every section of the aquarium. But thankfully, for some reason, she decided not to do that. She decided that wasn't going to yell at me, scream at me anymore for the rest of the day. So at the very end of the day, my very last station, there she is again. So I guess I made a mistake. And here's where I guess I made the mistake. I tried to apologize for the situation. I tried to explain to her that I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. I wasn't, trying to make a scene. I was just trying to tell her kid that, it's dangerous to the animals to have, you know, with the way that the animals are, these animals are in a situation all day where they're being touched, handled, and all this stuff, so when it comes to a full day of that, anything would be uncomfortable. Anyone would be uncomfortable. So, it's understandable that we're trying to tell, these people that, hey, we know you love coming to the aquarium, so can you do us all a favor and make it so that, you know, it's a fun day for everyone by just, being gentle with the animals, not hurting them, not doing anything like that. That should be a given when you go to an aquarium or any place like this. Any place with animals that you can pet or anything like that. It should be a given that, the animals are not there for your pleasure. They're there because they live and they're being cared for by these people that work in the aquarium or in a zoo. They are not exactly there for your pleasure. They are there because they are living animals too, and people are caring for them in a place where you get to see them. That does not give you the right to harass them just because they're there. If an animal is genuinely able to be hurt in a situation, then, usually the people that are telling you, hey, this animal can be hurt in this situation, are usually correct. And that was part of my training, was to tell this kid, hey, you gotta be gentle with them, all right? But I tried to say sorry about the whole situation to this woman. And this last bit, there's no real like yelling, there's no screaming, there's no real confrontation. Thankfully, really, it was just she like I tried to explain, and like finally, after I finally like finished explaining the situation and what was going on between me and her child before she came over to that and caused that scene. I was like trying to explain to her, like, yeah, the animals could be hurt when people pet them like that, and I was just trying to tell your kid, hey, can you be more gentle with them and only use two fingers, and also, you're supposed to lay on your tummy on the concrete thing there, and that's why it's that wide, so that you can lay there comfortably and be able to reach in and pet the animals without, it's supposed to be a painless endeavor for both ends, for the person trying to pet the animal and the animal itself. And she turns to me, like, she didn't look at me the entire time. Like, she looked at me when I walked up to her. Like, I didn't really walk up to her, I guess. I was still behind a station. It was my last station of the day. And she kind of stared at me, like, as I did this, and just she had this cold look in her face, and it was just demoralizing to try to do this. But I toughened up and tried to speak for myself, and I tried to explain, hey, this is why I was doing that. I'm sorry that if it seemed any other way, and I just want to make sure that there's no like hard feelings or anything. I'm just doing my job, and I don't want any negativity. I want you to my job my goal in this job is to make sure that people have a good time, are happy, the animals are healthy, and people get to enjoy the experience of being around these creatures that many people don't see on a daily basis. And when she gave me this dead look, I was like, okay, either I'm about to have this whole screaming argument again, or she's actually going to understand, and she's going to soften up for a moment. She didn't. She plainly didn't. That's the easiest way I can put it. And she looked at me with this this dead stare, just almost as dead as the Minecraft character stare here, as me right here, stare, blank, like emotionless is what I'm trying to explain, other than just a tinge of anger. And she didn't even say a word. Actually, she didn't say a word, but she glared at me and walked away. You know how defeated as a person I felt? I tried to be nice. I tried to give this woman, you know, I didn't go screaming at her, give her a piece of my mind kind of thing. I could have totally done that. But instead, I was polite. I tried to say sorry. I tried to explain the situation and that I'm not trying to be some evil person. I'm not trying to rape your kid. I'm trying to tell your kid that there's a situation that he's put himself into, that it's my job to tell him not to do so. But that's just what she thought, and that's just how it was to her. It wasn't me being a person or a good guy. It was me being a rapist. And if anyone out there, if you've ever been in a situation similar to that, you know exactly how it feels to be called something like that, to be thought of as something like that. It's disgusting that someone could even dream of calling you that. Like if you're just doing your job, that is the worst thing you could ever experience. That is the worst thing anyone could experience in jobs, and that is being given a racial stereotype. Because I was white, she thought I was a rapist. Is what I'm going with here. That's what I'm thinking. That she thought of me. It was because I was white, I was a rapist, and that I thought I could get away with it or something. It's not okay. No one's actions were unjustified, other than hers. She just blatantly started screaming at me for no reason. I didn't do anything to her nor her child, other than tell her child, can you please, I was trying to be polite with the kid and, be nice to the kid. I didn't want to ruin his day. But some people, that's it. It's just that for them. It's just they can get away with it because they played the race card, and I'm not allowed to do anything about it. Never in your life be like that person. That is the worst kind of person you can be. That anyone can be. It's uncalled for. It's insanity that she believed that, you know, I would do such a thing to a child. It disgusted me that she thought I would be doing that because I'm white. Racism doesn't go one way. It's not always white people are racist. That's not how it is. Racism goes either way. And it's disgusting whenever it happens to anyone. I'm not saying it's only disgusting when it happens to white people. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you as a person, if somebody as a person is willing to say something about someone because of their race and make that, their idea of them, their stereotype. All black people do is steal. That's a stereotype. That is disgusting. I happen to know plenty of people that are African American or any other race that people consider as black who don't do that, who are not thieves, who are not rapists, who are not this, that, and the other. There is disgusting people in there. There are disgusting people in this world. And it pains me to have to say this, and not as a, person who's just complaining about it to complain, as a victim of someone being a racial profiler. It is not fair to anyone to ever assume something of like that of them. It is disgusting. It is the worst thing you can do as a person to assume something of that, like that, of someone, just because of their race, just because of how they are, how they look. This woman genuinely thought I was a rapist because I was white, because I was working there, because I was trying to help to make sure that no one had a bad day while at the aquarium. And that's what sucks, is that there's people that forward that mentality, forward that ideal. I know some people. I will never name names. I am not someone who would do that. Who still believe in an idealism that there are inferior races, that there are inferior people. Do you know how disgusting that is? There is no such thing as an inferior person. But the fact that I need to say that at all is disgusting. Those people that forward that ideal are disgusting. And to this woman, I hope you're having a good day, because I'm not going to be somebody who's going to hold a grudge. I'm going to be upset, like I am right now, because I have to think, because I even had to experience it. But I'm not going to make it a race thing, like you did. You wanted to make it a race thing. I didn't. I tried to diffuse the situation. You didn't. You tried to make it worse. You tried to make me the bad guy. You tried to make me a fucking rapist to your child because you said so. And I'm sorry for swearing. I'm sorry. Good Christian Minecraft server bullcrap. No. Not what I'm talking about this. Because it was a situation that no one should ever have to be in. Yet people forward it. Because they think they can get away with it. Because they think, oh, just because I'm this, people are like this to me. The problem is, when you think like that, when anyone thinks like that, they continue it. They forward that ideal. They continue it. It's not you. It's usually them. That I had to be treated like a rapist by a mother who just believed it because of my race. Believed that's how I was. Believed that's who I was. Believed that's how I should be treated. when I'm just trying to tell her kid not to harm an animal? It's not fair to anyone. I'm worried that her son had a terrible day. Because, again, all I saw was her. Because she kept her kid away from me. Out of view of me. Because she thought that's exactly what I wanted. You know, I even said, I just hope that there's no hard feelings or anything like that between you and me, just because I hope your kid had a good day. It's my job to make sure that everybody has a good day and make sure that, that animals are okay. So I'm not wanting to cause or formulate any harm to anyone. But she decided that's what I was doing. And that's what sucks. Did I want to harm people? Did I want to harm her child? Did I want to do anything to her child? No, I was just doing my job. Apparently that's hard for people. Today's day and age, people. Today's day. I'm sorry that this needs to be the episode before we switch into 1.13. This video of me yelling and swearing once about the way someone treated me. I didn't want this to be an episode that I'd ever have to make. But I promised I would talk about it. And I ended up getting heated about it, right? I'll admit, I shouldn't have, but it's something that happened to me and I wanted to get it off my chest. And I'm sorry. And again, I'll say it. I hope your kid had a good day. Yeah. I hope. I hope. But yeah, guys, that's my entitled parents story. You've heard it. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. Understood my message of don't be that guy. Or that Gora. I just said Gora. I meant Goral. I was gonna say it goofily, say goofily, and then ended up saying Growl or whatever I did. But I hope you all have a good day. Yeah, this iron golem is staring at me. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you all in the next one. You're under the water. Please help. If you don't get that reference, I'm sorry. Anyways, bye bye, guys.